I'm Dennis Yates. I'm the Fire Chief of the town of Norway. I've worked for the town of Norway for 47 years. And basically I'm going to go through each one of these trucks and tell you what they are, what they do. This is a 2012 International tanker, holds 2,500 gallons of water. It is a 750 gallon minute pump, and we use this basically to supply our first engine that goes into the outlying areas where we don't have a hydrant system. Actually, this was a truck that my son had written a grant for from FEMA, and we got $200,000 from FEMA to purchase this vehicle. And then we also, see the artwork on the side of the truck, we had some high school kids make up some designs, and a high school girl came up with this design, and so we put it on the side of the truck. This is a control panel, basically. This we can actually draft from it. We put a big hose into the lake or a pond, and we can suck water out through this and then fill the tanks. Seeing this has a pump, we also have hoses. We can actually fight fire with this because we do have hoses that we can charge. As a matter of fact, at yesterday's fire, what I was doing, I was pumping water from this truck into the truck that was fighting the forest fire. And just basically, this is gauges. It tells me how much pressure I got on each one of the lines that going out. This is an inlet also where I can pump from another truck into my truck. And that's what this control panel does. Basically, just tells us what we're doing. This is all computerized. It's not like the old days where we had levers and pull knobs and so on and so forth. I still like the old pull knob type, but this is a computerized one. That tells us all kinds of things. It'll tell us how fast our engine's running, how many, what the pump pressure is. We can push the button. I can tell you what the oil pressure is, so on and so forth. And this is a 1,000-gallon tank, and this will pump 1,250 gallons of water a minute, where that one will only do 750 gallons a minute. It's a four-wheel drive. You know, that's why it sets up so high, because it is a four-wheel drive truck. See the door is way, way up there. And the reason being it's high off the ground, but we can put it in a four-wheel drive and go places that normal trucks couldn't go. And basically this is the same scenario as the other one. This is our large diameter discharge. In other words, the big hose that we lay on the ground. This is the hose that we do to suck water out of the lake. And this is another discharge that we can put a hose onto. And like I said, this can pump capacity is 1,250 gallons a minute. And then this is one of the oldest trucks that we have. This is a 1,000-gallon tank. And if you notice on the back, we have, in the back there, we have all that red and yellow hose. That's what they call our large diameter hose. And basically that's a hydrant on the ground. There's 2,000 feet of that hose that we can lay out. So we can pump from one truck to another. Actually, we got almost a mile of that. So we can pump a mile with that truck. This is the old-fashioned one. So basically, what I want to do is I pull this knob, and that's the tank to pump. So that'll open a valve, and it'll put water into this pump. And this is our throttle. Where on the computer, we push a button. But this, we have to actually physically hand crank it up to the RPMs that we want. And then we just open up one of the valves, like this one goes to there, and it fills up with water. This big cap here, we put these on. This is our hard section. And we put a strainer on the end of it, and we put it in a Norway lake or any pond that we have a body of water. We can actually use a swimming pool if we have to. This one holds 2,500 gallons of water also. So it can either be as a tanker, and yesterday at the fire it actually drafted out of Crooked River and supplied water to all the tankers. We'd back up, they'd fill us up with water, and then we'd go to the fire scene and dump our water. So that's what this actually does. It fights fire. We once again, newer truck, all computerized. And I'll open up some of these compartments. We carry all kinds of fittings. In that one, more fittings, garden hose. This one we got axes, we've got bolt cutters, a light. And in this apartment we have a chainsaw, we have a cut-off saw here, we have a helmet, fuel, and basically what these are is what they call our low-level strainers. So we would put that on that black hose that I showed you previous. That would be one of the things that we put in the lake. That's what they call a floating strainer. It flips upside down and it floats in the water. And we try to keep it above the sand so we don't get sand and rocks into our pump. What we have here is we have these little compartments which hold our spare air tanks, which go on our air packs. So every seat has to have an air pack except for the driver. Once again, hoses here. If you see up on top, that's a deck gun. Once we get our prime, we don't want to lose it, so we usually run the deck gun so that it continually, we don't stop, because sometimes if you stop, you lose your prime, and then you have to start all over again. So if there's water running, it never usually fails, it just keeps going. Each one of the personnel basically has their own cage that they keep their gear in. This is where all the ladies and gentlemen keep their equipment. So this is our tower truck. We got this out of Manassas Park, Virginia. We bought this about 4 years ago. It's a 100-foot stick with a 5-foot bucket on it, so it'll go up to about 105 feet. It's a 2004. We'll go down through this. This is a 6-man cab. It's only got 300 gallons of water on it because it's really not meant to hold water. It's actually a pumper. We have air packs. So the one that you see laying on the floor is what they call a RIP pack. And if one of our firefighters goes down, they can grab that pack, the RIT team, and go in and get him. And basically the same thing. It's, you know, the intake, all of the gauges, computerized. What this screen is our foam system. What we do is we mix water with a chemical and it produces foam. This is actually like a command zone. We can tell anything that's going on in the truck. If the doors are open, it's just like a computer, and we can scroll through and it tells us just about anything we want to know about the truck. So this is our set of jaws. We actually have 2 sets. On engine 3 is the battery operated set, which doesn't take this, but this is a hydraulic pump. We take this out, hook it up to these, and it'll open, close, has pistons, so on and so forth. So this is where we keep our second set of jaws. And you see it has an air tank down there, and what it does, that the guys that are in the bucket can plug into that air tank with their SCBAs. And so this is where all the ladders are housed. We got tools and ladders and shovels, 35-foot ladder, 28-foot ladder, 16. So they're all housed in this compartment, kind of in between. And we do have some of that big, large diameter hose. This is a tool compartment. This is our rescue jacks for cars that are tipped over on its side. We set them up to stabilize the car so it won't tip over any farther. Down in here we have some of our blocking. We got hand tools, we got electric tools, we got chainsaws. This is a roof vent for cutting Holes and rules. And this is what they call a shoreline. We plug it in, and that'll kind of, all the battery charges will continue to work in there. Basically, it's different radios, because if we have one radio in our hand, a guy can be talking to county and I can't hear somebody inside of the building. So each one of these will be just a separate station, so they won't interfere with each other. If they, say a fireman gets in trouble and calls for a mayday, which means I need help now, we might miss that. Like, see, this is Norway Fire, which is our frequency. We haven't put them on, but we can change that so I can go to Frost Hill, Fireground, State Fire. That would be County Fire Streaked, which would talk to Oxford County. So we can get different channels there. And then also another feature that this has, you see the red lights on here? I can change that to a hazard